I make over $200,000 a year watching anime. I am living very, very comfortably doing something that I love. People think reaction channels are easy views, but they don't really see what goes into making a channel that actually grows. I've built 2 channels with over 500,000 subscribers, over 120 million views, and I was able to replace my 6-figure salary in tech doing just that. And in this video, I'm going to break down how I did it and how you can too by going over the 3 most important things that all successful reaction channels have. I've coached hundreds of reactors, and there are 3 things that every single successful reaction channel has, whether they know it or not. The very first thing is clarity on your brand and your viewer. Before you worry about what camera you have or how to do a thumbnail, you need to know who exactly is your target audience. It's like a radio station. You can't just blast every single song and every single genre and hope people stick around to that station. You have to understand what is your frequency, who are you trying to broadcast to, and who is your tribe. And based on that, that's the content that you create. So every successful channel that you see, they have some sort of niche. Maybe there's exceptions to some of the larger channels because what you probably didn't see is they started a bit more niche, they grew a community, snowballed that, and then they were able to branch out a little bit because they have a loyal following. But think about some of the biggest reactors out there, some of the most successful. The ones that come to mind for me is No Life Shack. So he's a music reactor. He reacts to primarily rap, but you know exactly who his target audience is. You know exactly his brand, right? And it feels like he's speaking to me because I'm a fan of what he's reacting to. He's loud, he's funny, he's unmistakably him. Someone else that comes to mind is Nicholas Light TV. He's emotional, he's raw, he's reflective, super entertaining. And at the end of the day, he doesn't just react. He connects with me, with you, with his viewers, his audience. People don't just subscribe for the show. They subscribe for you, and you have to keep that in mind. So make sure that as you're going on this journey, you understand very clearly who is your target audience. Then every time you're making content, you have to ask yourself, does that target audience want to watch this? Are they interested in this? And then you want to start factoring in how to make it you, how to brand it so that they feel like they're watching this show or these movies or these music videos with you, because they can't get that on other channels. The second thing that every successful reaction channel has is content with retention in mind. You have to create content with retention in mind. YouTube's algorithm doesn't just care about clicks anymore. It cares about the viewer satisfaction. So what that means is, how long is a viewer actually watching a video of yours? Did they skip ahead? Did they leave? What time did they leave? Why did they leave? Did they click on another video of yours? Think of your video like a roller coaster. If there are too many slow climbs up and not enough drops, well, most people are probably going to want to get off the ride or never get on that ride again. In reaction videos, retention is directly tied to the emotional peaks in the content that you're watching. So for fight scenes, confessions, betrayals, you need to be making sure that you are bringing them along. You're thinking out loud. But here's the thing. Most viewers aren't patient enough to sit around for 3 to 5 minutes of just silence and wait for the buildup to get there. More than likely, they've already watched the movie, show, or music video that you're reacting to. So how do you fix that? Well, this is what you should do. You need to balance commentary with reaction. Too much dead space or too much talking can kill the momentum. So you definitely want to get a hybrid of this. If you're starting out, just know that this will come with experience and it's going to feel awkward at first. It felt awkward for all of us. It felt awkward for me, for my wife, for my twin brother. But trust me, you'll get better at it. But either way, you should think about that. How I like to explain it, and this is how I talk to people in the Reaction Channel community, in the Reaction Channel Academy community, I tell them, especially if you're a solo reactor and you don't have someone to talk to on camera to bounce questions or ideas off of, Basically, you want to be thinking out loud. As you're watching a show, what's going on in your head? Let the audience hear that and go through that journey with you. That's what they came for. Next, use subtitles, facial zoom-ins, music swells, edits, things to keep the energy moving forward. This all kind of goes into the editing section, which I've created courses about, but I'm gonna be making videos about on this channel for free, so don't worry about it. But when you get to that stage of editing, just make sure you wanna be keeping the flow going so that the audience doesn't get bored. So the third thing that all channels need, and something that I really focused on, is a plan for growth. A plan for growth that isn't random. One of the biggest mistakes new creators make is posting whenever they feel like it, whenever they have time. There is no schedule, there is no plan of attack, and they're just throwing things at the wall, hoping something sticks. That is basically like showing up to the gym, trying a new machine every time. Oh, and by the way, you're showing up to the gym on random days, and you're wondering why you're not getting stronger. You need a program. You need to track your lifts, you need to be consistent, and you need to repeat with a purpose. YouTube growth is not about luck. It's about compounding signals. The algorithm looks for patterns, it looks for consistency in your content. And if you give them random patterns, you give YouTube random consistencies, well, you're more than likely going to get random results, both from viewers, from retention, from subscribers, from everything. If you are starting, look at your calendar. Block out when you work, block out when you spend time with friends, family, block out when you go to the gym, whatever. Block out your day. Then with your remaining time, you need to create a schedule and stick to it. Create time to film, create time to do research, and create time to edit. And with that, on top of that, create an upload schedule. And then you gotta stick to it, okay? Most of us start this channel as a part-time thing. It's a side gig. And the goal is to build that up to make it our full-time gig, right? For most of us. Some of us, maybe you don't care about that. But if you are looking to make this a full-time gig, you have to treat it as such. Meaning, yes, it's a side gig, but if you had a side job and you created a calendar and a schedule and you committed to that, you can't just not show up some days. You're gonna get fired. So that is step number one. Number two is what I've talked about in other videos and I briefly talked about earlier. You have to know who your target audience is and you have to appeal to them. You can't spray and pray across tons of different niches. So an example of that, and I see this again, so many channels do this, you upload a movie reaction, then you upload an anime reaction, then you upload a music video reaction, then you upload a clip of your Twitch stream. It's like, who's your target audience? Anyone who lands on that channel is gonna have no idea what they're getting next, and more than likely, they're not gonna wanna either come back or subscribe because they're getting something all over the place. Not only that, but then YouTube doesn't even know who to serve your content to. Viewers who fall in love with one series on your channel, they're gonna wanna binge that. They're gonna wanna come back and they're gonna wanna see you on that journey and they want you to finish that journey. They don't want you to take detours because once you take detours, they may say, okay, I'm gonna come back later when they, upload again on this movie or on this show or whatever it is, but they could easily forget. So you want to, as you got them reeled in, you want to keep them reeled in by giving them what they want. So keep it consistent with what you're reacting to. You really want to understand, what are you going to react to? I know for this is different for a lot of us because some of us haven't reacted to stuff and some of us have reacted to stuff. You want to figure out what haven't you reacted to and what are people searching for. So you want to really understand the success that reacting to certain shows have. And you want to find a balance between what you're genuinely curious of or passionate about and what you want to watch and what people are interested in watching. YouTube gives us a lot of tools to strategically string people along for more of your content. So you can use end screens, you can use titles, you can use links, pinned comments, descriptions to keep feeding the viewer more of your stuff. More of stuff though that you know they would be interested in. When I finally dialed these things in, everything changed for me. I wasn't just throwing stuff at a dartboard anymore with my eyes closed. It felt like I had an actual plan. And as long as I kept consistent and stuck to that plan, my growth just skyrocketed. And not only that, but the growth just keeps going up. Unless you go off path and you start switching things up, you should keep growing, especially when the algorithm and your viewers start feeding into each other. It becomes a cycle. Another tool that YouTube allows us as creators to use is playlists. So once I started using playlists to filter and recommend things, that also helped keep the ball rolling for my audience to know exactly what to expect and what they're going to get in every single upload. My audience knew my schedule, they knew what shows they're going to get, they knew all of it. And once you start getting in rhythm, it just feels so much easier than stressing about so many different things, because trust me, I know most creators do that, especially when you start out, and I am no different. I'm no exception. I also did that. So let me just talk real quick about common mistakes that I see reaction channels make. Now, I didn't get here without messing up. In fact, I made every one of the mistakes that I'm about to share with you, but that ultimately is why I'm able to sit here and talk to you about it and hopefully prevent you from making them, even though you still might make some of them, but it really is part of the process. One, posting without a plan. Again, you can't just throw stuff out there and hope it sticks. Two, you can't just copy big creators instead of finding your own voice. Big creators are big creators for a reason, and big creators have loyalty and brand following and a community that is going to watch regardless of how they do things. You unfortunately are in growth mode, so you're starting out. So you can't just copy what they're doing and think you're going to have similar results. I tried that, it didn't work. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Another mistake that I made that I see a lot of channels make is ignoring feedback and data. Really, you want to check out why people are clicking off. You want to dive deep into analytics just to understand where can you improve. And then, like I talked about in another video, try to get feedback from people. Find a community, a support group, because that's going to save you so much time. And lastly, this is a big one. I know we all want to make money doing this, but don't launch your Patreon too soon. We're human beings and we understand. If you have 10 subscribers, but you have a Patreon, most people are going to see that you're just trying to make a quick buck, and that's not going to win people over. Sure, it still can work, but I promise you, save Patreon for down the road. If you go as long as you can without making money and just building great content and a great community, then trust me, they will support you when that day comes. Okay, so if I had to start from scratch today and I had a 9 to 5 and I had limited time, here's exactly what I would do. This is basically your starter blueprint. First, I would pick 1 to 2 shows that I actually enjoy, that I'm very curious about watching. I would make sure that they have some sort of viewer base, right? People are actually searching for them on YouTube. And I would dive in and build a community solely off of this 1 or 2 shows or movies or whatever it is you're deciding on. Next, I would batch record on the weekends. I would save every file and make sure that you keep those, because you're going to want to edit and have a Patreon version and a YouTube version for when the day comes that you do launch your Patreon. I would watch my content as if I was a stranger and really ask myself, would I subscribe? How do I feel when I watch this versus when I watch my favorite creators? And then lastly, I would find 1 to 2 creators or friends or someone that I can share ideas with, share my videos with, share thumbnails and titles with, and get feedback from. It's like starting a workout plan. You don't need the best gear. You need reps, you need accountability, and you need a way to track your progress. Your first 10 videos aren't supposed to be perfect. They're supposed to teach you what works. So again, a reminder, you don't need fancy gear. You don't need a viral moment. You need consistency, strategy, and the courage to start. So if you are serious about getting started, I hope to provide you all the content you need to have the motivation, have the accountability, and have the information to get started and to not give up. My entire goal, because I've been able to create this life, is basically create something that I wish I had. That would have saved me a year's worth of headache, money, and time, and trials and tribulations. I want to prevent that and give that to you. And that's what I'm doing on this channel. So what are you waiting for? let's get serious. Now is the best time to start a reaction channel. Right now, I promise you, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years from now, you could be doing this full time and it can change your life. So I hope all of this helped. Stick with it, be consistent, and don't give up, okay? Don't give up. That's the biggest thing. I see too many people give up. Don't get caught up in the numbers. Stick with it, and you'll make it count. And you have me, you have this community, and I promise we won't let you down. So stay up and stay blessed. We'll see you soon. Peace.